This reading is from the New Testament of the Holy Bible, and it is Matthew 13. That same day, Jesus went out of the house and was sitting beside the sea. But such great crowd of people gathered about him that he got into a boat and remained sitting there while all the things stood on the shore. And he told them many things in parables, stories by way of illustration and comparison, saying, A sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the birds came and ate them up. Other seeds fell on rocky ground where they had not much soil, and at once they sprang up because they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched and because they had no root, they dried up and withered away. Verse 7. Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them out. Other seeds fell on good soil. Turn the page. Let's see. Yeah. And yield grass, some 100 times as much as were sown, some 60 times as much as it was, and some 30. Verse 9. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Let him listen and let him consider and perceive and compare by hearing. Verse 10. Then the disciples came to him and said, Why do you speak to them in parables? And he replied to them, To you it has been given to know the secrets and mystery of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. Verse 12. For whosoever has spiritual knowledge, to him will more be given, and he will be furnished richly, so that he will have abundance. But from him who has not, even what he has will be taken away. Verse 13. This is the reason that I speak to them in parables, because having the power of seeing, they do not see, and of the power of hearing, they do not hear, nor do they grasp and understand. Verse 14. In them, indeed, is the progress of fulfillment of the prophecy of Isaiah, which says, You shall indeed hear and hear, but never grasp the understand. And you shall indeed look and look, but never see, and perceive. Verse 15. For this nation's heart has grown gross, fat and dull, and their ears heavy and difficult of hearing, and their eyes they have tightly closed, lest they see and perceive with their eyes, and hear and comprehend the sense with their ears. Now go to verse 16. But blessed, happy, fortunate, and to be envied are your eyes, because they do see, and your ears, because you do hear. Verse 17. Truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous men who were upright and in right standing with God yearned to see what you see and did not see it, and to hear what you hear and did not hear it. Listen then to the meaning of the parable of the sower. While anyone is hearing the word of the kingdom and does not grasp and comprehend it, the evil one comes, the evil one is Satan the devil, comes and snatch it away what was sown in their hearts. This is what was sown along the roadside. Verse 20. As for what was sown on thin rocky soil, that is he who hear the word and as once welcome and accept it with joy. Verse 21. Yet it has no real root and him, but is temporary. Go down to verse 22. As for that was sown among thorns, that is he who hear the word, but the cares of this world and the pleasures and delight and glamour and deceitfulness of riches choke and suffocate the word, and it yield no fruit. Verse 23. As for what was sown on good soil, that is he who hear the word and grasps it and comprehend it, he indeed bear fruit and yield it one case 100 times as much as was sown, and in another 60 times as much, and in another 30. Another parable he referred, and another parable he set forth before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seeds in the field. But while he was sleeping, the enemy is the devil, came and sowed also weed resembling wheat among the wheat, and went on his way. So when the plant sprouted and formed grain, the weed appeared also. Verse 27. And the servant of the owner came to him and said, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field, then how does it have shoots? Verse 28. He replied to them, as enemies has done this. The servant said to him, then do you want us to go and weed them out? Verse 29. But he said, no, lest you gather the wild wheat and weeds also, resembling wheat. You root them up. Verse 30. Let's go to verse 30. Let them grow together until the harvest, and at harvest time I will say to the reapers, gather the darned net first, and bind it, bundle it to be burnt, but gather the wheat also for the granny. Verse 31. Another story by way of comparison he set forth before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed, when a man took and sowed in the field. Verse 32. Of all the seed, it is the smallest, but when it is grown, it is the largest of the garden herbs, and become the tree, so that the birds of the air come and find shelter in its branches. Verse 33. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven, sourdough, which a woman took and covered over in 3 measures of meal or flour, till all of it was leavened. These words are found in Genesis 18, verse 6. Now go to verse 34. These things all taken together, Jesus said to the crowd in parables. Indeed, without a parable, he said nothing to them. Verse 35. This was a fulfillment of what was spoken in the prophets. Amen, amen, amen. And the saying went as to say that I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things that have been hidden since the foundation of the world. These words are found in Psalm 78, verse 2. Now goes to verse 36. Then he left the tongues and went into the house, and his disciples came to him, saying, these words explain to us the parable of the damsel in the field. Verse 37. He answered, he who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The Son of Man is Jesus. Verse 38. The field is the world, and the good seed means the children of the kingdom. And the darnet, D-A-R-N-E-L, darnel, is the children of the evil one. The evil one is the devil. They're children of the devil. So we have the children of God and the children of the devil. Verse 39. and the enemy who sowed it is the devil. The harvest is the close and consummation of the age, and the reapers are angels, just as the darnels, they are in a darnel, which is a weed resembling wheat, is gathered and burned with fire. So it will be at the close of the age. Verse 41, and the Son of Man will send forth his angels, and they will, let's turn the page, and they will gather out of his kingdom all causes of offense. Now go down to verse 42. I will cast them into the furnace of fire. There will be weeping and wailing and grinding of teeth. Then will the righteous, or those who are upright and in right standing with God, shall shine forth like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Let him who have understanding and who have ears to hear, let them hear. Go down to verse 44. The kingdom of heaven is like something precious buried in a field, which a man found and hid again. Then in his joy he goeth and selleth all he has to buy that field. Verse 45. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who is a dealer in search for a fine and precious pearls. Verse 46. Who, on finding a single pearl of great price, went and sold all that he has and bought that field. Verse 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a dragnet, which was cast into the sea and gathered in fish of every sort. Now we go to verse 48. When it was full, men dragged it up on the beach and sat down and sorted out the good fish into basket, but the worthless ones they threw back and threw it away. Verse 49. So it will be at the close of the consummation of the age, end of the age, the angels will go forth and separate the wicked from the righteous people who are upright and in right standing with God. Verse 50. And cast them, the wicked, into the furnace of fire. There will be weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. Verse 51. Have you understand all these things, these parables taken together? They said to him, Yes, Lord. Verse 52. He said to them, Wherefore every teacher and interpreter of the sacred writings, the sacred writing is the scriptures, who have been instructed about and trained for the kingdom of heaven, and has become a disciple, is like a householder who bring forth out of his storehouse treasures that is new and treasures that is old, the fresh and well as the familiar. Verse 53. Amen, amen, amen.